welcome to Finance Conversation. This is the 66th episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I'm delighted to be here today. For those of you who do not know me, I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I help professional women bridge the gap between life and money by teaching them the relevant financial skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money, manage their finances, and understand that they can live their best life with the money they have. Thank you for joining in today. So if you are watching the replay, make sure to type #replay in the chat and leave me some comments and questions. So welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. Today, and for the next two shows, my special guest, Eric Dudley, a frequent contributor to the Merging Life and Money Show, will be talking about student loan and related topics. In part one today, he will address the need to be proactive and save for college well ahead of time. So Eric Dudley is an independent, experienced, holistic financial advisor whose specialties are retirement planning, investing solutions, and life insurance. So Eric is also the founder and president of Dudley Financial Group, and one of their main goals is to help their clients build their best tomorrow while protecting them today. So welcome, Eric, to the Merging Life and Money Show, and welcome followers and listeners. Thank you for joining in today. So grab a pen and a notebook as you might want to take some notes to discuss them further with family members, friends, colleagues, etc., because it is about sharing values that could benefit others. And as we know, student loan issue is a big one in the U.S. Before I go any further, let me also say that Eric will be using some slides. So for those of you who are listening, I would strongly urge that you go to YouTube or Facebook to actually see the show so that it makes more sense to you. So again, if you have any comments or questions, make sure to put them in the chat. And as you know, the main objective of the Merging Life and Money Show and my very strong why is to empower as many women as I can with what I know about money and finance. And very often I bring a contributor that helps me complete my mission. So today we will be talking, as I said, about saving for college, and we will cover the following points. Why must you save for college? Is getting a higher education important in today's economy? And lastly, the various college funding options that are available. So let me give today's show some context. The cost of tuition has been rising steadily for the past few decades, and there is no indication that this trend will stop anytime soon. So as a result, it has become increasingly difficult for students to pay for college without resorting to loans. So let's take a quick look at some, what I would say, shocking facts about student loan debt for 2022 in America. So looking at the big picture of student loan, the most recent information shows that nearly 46 million people in the U.S. owe a total of nearly 1.75 trillion, that's with a T, in student loan debt, which really represent about 440 billion more than all the other loan debt in the U.S. Another point is that before the pandemic, 11.1% of student loans were late by 90 days or more, or were in default. And for those of you who are following the loan situation, default were altered as part of the crisis relief measures. So, third point is that before the White House put a stop to student loan payments, the average monthly payment was approximately $300 a month. And as you may know, the suspension is in place through August 31st, 2022. So as the statistics show, the cost of going to college can be a big problem for a lot of Americans. So this is why it is important, guys, to start saving for college as early as possible. So, Eric, tell us more about why is it super important to save for college?
Well, hey, thanks for having me on again, MJ. I'm really happy to be here and talk about college savings. It's something that I thought of as a good topic because I have a 13-year-old son. I need to be thinking about college savings for him, frankly. So anything that's in my life, I start thinking, oh, it's probably important for other people too. So it's always a good idea to start saving for things that you know you're going to have to buy in the future. You need to try, if you can, to start saving as early as possible for anything like that, because, of course, the earlier you start, the more you get the compounding interest. That's always such a big help. So college savings definitely is that, because college, of course, is extremely expensive, and it's gotten more and more so all the time. And not only that, it's extremely important. And really, that's what we're going to be talking about today in the show: how expensive it is and how important it is. Right. So just some stats that we want to go over. As you can see on this chart, tuition today is so expensive. I mean, it is now going to cost a person who's just in a public school $17,000, almost $20,000 a year for public school. If you go to a 4-year school, a $25,000 bill per year, that's $100,000. I mean, I remember it wasn't that long ago you could buy a house for $100,000. Yep. So now a 4-year education costs $100,000, and that's, of course, assuming that your child finishes in 4 years. That's not always guaranteed. Plus, then you start looking at other things. Out-of-state tuition is way more expensive in private schools, even more expensive. And, you pay for those private schools because they're going to give sometimes better education and hopefully open some more doors. So, hey, you're thinking to yourself, what can I do for my child to have, set them up to win in life? Mm-hmm. You want to send them to school. You want to send them to a good school. Well, it's going to cost a lot of money to do that. So it's a great opportunity to start thinking, hey, how can I save for that? How can I be prepared? I know I just had a relatives visit, and one of them was lucky enough to have a son that qualified to go to Princeton. And that was fantastic. He got to Princeton, he went there, he did great. He got a fantastic, job as soon as he graduated, and he's doing great now because that education paid off. But I can tell you this, it really cost my brother-in-law quite a bit of money.
It comes with a price.
Yes, it did. Yes. And so it was a strain. And, so you need to be prepared, because who knows, maybe you'll have an overachiever that's going to make you pay for Ivy League prices. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah. Totally. Well, I totally get that. And it is not getting any cheaper. A lot of things have changed since the pandemic. A lot of thoughts are being tossed around, and which takes me to point number 2. And I would start by saying that there are many benefits to having a college degree, as you said just now, both in terms of your career, and your personal life, right? So a college education can open up doors that would otherwise be closed to you. Also, it can help. It could help you earn, I would say, more money over the course of your lifetime, right? Additionally, studies have shown that people with college degrees are more likely to be happy and fulfilled in their personal life. Okay, that's what studies say. But conversely, to me, in my opinion, it depends on what you want to become. Okay, what professional path you choose as well. So you might not need a college degree. So in fact, just before jumping in for the show, I was looking at my LinkedIn feed, and I read an interesting article on titled "How to Pursue Career Without a College Degree." That's what it was. So at the end of the day, anywhere is a good place to start, right? And work your way up. That's the way it is. Doesn't matter with a degree or without a degree. Very often you have to work your way up. And it only takes being accessible, and I would say working hard and being dedicated, most of all. And after that, how far you want to go depends on your idea of success. So Eric, tell us more about what I would say the pros and cons of having a higher education nowadays.
Oh yeah, sure. You know what you just said is so true. You don't have to have a college degree to do well. I live in a part of Florida that is it's in Venice, Florida, and Venice, Florida is one of the biggest retirement communities in America. It's a fantastic place to retire. People love it, and because of that, there are tons of people who are my age or even younger. You know, a lot younger. Every year they seem to get younger. They're the people who service all of the retirees. You know, these are the people who cut grass, who take care of pools, who paint houses, who redecorate houses or renovate houses. I mean, there's great jobs doing that. You know, they can make good money. They're always busy. And if that's what a person wants to do, no, they don't need a college degree for that. They should probably take a little business class, learn how to do finance stuff, and of course, learn how to invest. But you don't need a college education for that. You just need some skills and hard work. On the other hand, though, getting a college education is really important if you want to become a professional, because you cannot have a professional job like a lawyer, a doctor, sometimes one of these types of people. You have to have an education. And as you can see on this chart here, I mean, it's talking about the overall, because not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur like I was just describing. So a lot of people just want to go get a job. You know, they want to have health care. They want to have, you know, a place that's, you know, they don't have to worry about making it work. Like, you know, a lot of small businesses fail. They want to have that security. So they say, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and get a job. Well, if you go into that type of market, you know, with a ninth grade education, you're averaging about $30,000 a year. You get a high school education, about $40,000 a year. You get some college, about $42,000. You get a bachelor's degree, you're at $73,000. And it made such a difference. And, you know, if you get a doctorate degree, you're talking $140,000 a year. And this is 2019 survey. It actually is going up. It's going up all the time. I mean, I think that if I were to poll this whoever's watching today, 100% of you would say, is the world getting more technical? Is it getting more complicated? Yes, of course it is. And so the need for college education is getting more and more and more. Need for training is getting more and more. College may change in, like, for instance, it might be more online. It might not be needing to get a 4-year degree. You might just need to get 2 years of you know, post high school training. You might need 1 year, whatever it is. It's going to be needed, though, in order to get the skills needed for whatever job you want to do, and it's going to be expensive. You've got to be ready for that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you to a certain point, but a lot of, and I was questioned like that probably almost 20 years ago by my son, who is now a young adult, a millennial. Where and the first thing he said, "Well, why do I have to go to college?" And I mean, look at Bill Gates, and Zuckerberg was not yet a star, right? Because Facebook was just making its debut.
Right.
And but the first thing was, okay, look at Bill Gates and even Steve Jobs. I mean, those guys are setting themselves to be billionaires. And at the time, I'm talking like almost 20 years ago. And why do I need to go to college? I said, look, in my household, having a degree is not an option.
Right.
Okay, that's a rite of passage. I'm not saying that you got to be a doctor or a PhD or whatever, but you have to be able to be marketable, or to have a chance to be able to have a seat at the table when it comes to employment going forward. And I mean, truth be told, I mean, I personally look at it and I'm saying, oh my God, I mean, when you look at, particularly, I think with the pandemic, things have changed quite a bit. Whereas, it begs a question and say, well, if I were to do a coaching program for a year, I would probably end up my program, of course, you got to work at it, with making money already, right? And doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
And without necessarily costing as much as it costs to get a degree. And when you end up with a traditional degree, you kind of have the mortgage without the house around your neck, and you don't have employment secured. So a lot of thought has to be given into this. And as you know, the digital world is there, and technical work does not always require a full degree. Okay, it's a lot of training, a lot of accreditation that you could get by, attending workshops and on the job type situation. And those guys and those person involved in this are making a pretty decent salary. So so my a recommendation or suggestion, if I can give it, would be to choose very carefully what you want, what field you want to be in. And nowadays, that information is so readily available. They have statistics all over the internet. I remember back then you have to go see your school counselor and decide, okay, what am I going to do? What field I'm going to take on? Or, you had the kind of the parents that said, okay, well, look, I want you to be a lawyer. So whether or not you like it, that's where you're going, and I'm paying. All right. So, and those people a lot of them now are probably, professional, yes, but probably not even practicing or doing what they, went to college for. And they are probably in their late 30s, early 40s, still paying back that student loan.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to give that a lot of thought, which brings me to our final point for the day, which is the various option as regards to college funding. And as you well explained, there are many different types of college funding available to students. So tell me, Eric, can you tell us what they are, first of all, and the best way to find out what type of funding one may be eligible for?
Okay. Yeah, sure. There are a lot of them. Okay. Lots and lots, like you said. And so what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a general covering of the ones that are available. Just going to say what they are. Next week, the plan is we're going to go over the advantages and disadvantages and what each one of them are in more detail. And then the next week after that, we're going to talk about how to plan for college so that your kid can get into the right school, and to make sure that your kid is prepared for college so they have success. and also financially that they can go after what is the first ones that is on my list, the grants and scholarships. Because what's the best way to fund college? With other people's money. That's right. So, hey, grants and scholarships. So that's number one. If you want to fund school, grants and scholarships the best way. Okay, let them get in there. Earn it because of their great academic success in high school, or maybe athletic, or whatever reason. If you can get a grant and scholarship, that is definitely the best way. The second one that I'm going to cover is loans. Ooh, nobody wants those things, but sometimes it is very necessary, because if you can't pay for it now, you don't want to wait until you're 28, 29 to be going to college. A lot of times people are busy with life by then. Whenever you're a kid, you're 18, 19, get it over with, get your college education done. You're good. Okay. The next one is, I got prepaid loans. Prepaid loans. People now are it's very popular to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to pay in today's price. I'm going to pay for college so that 20 years from now, or whenever your kid goes to school, it'll be more expensive then, but I'll have already paid at a cheaper price. Prepaid loan, college. There's advantages and disadvantages, but we're not going to cover those today. Okay, the next one is the very popular 529 plan, then the Coverdell Savings Plan, a Roth IRA, which can be used for college expenses, the custodial accounts, which are, there's two different types, which we'll go over. Indexed universal life policies. I don't know if you follow this show, you might have already heard me talking about indexed universal life policies. You can use them for anything. You can use them for college savings as well. Bonds, and then of course savings and cash are something that's just basic. If you just have a bunch of money in the bank, good job.
Nowadays, right?
That's right. Nice going.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And as you mentioned, next week and the week after that, we'll be back again with more information. So thank you, Eric, for educating us about the importance of saving for college, right? And touching a little bit about, the type of funding that is available. And we, as you mentioned, we will be going into further detail as time progresses next week and the week after that. So I'm going to wind down some and try to sum up what you said. So today we talk about, of course, saving for college, and we focused on why you must save for college. And we discuss somewhat, is getting a higher education important nowadays? And lastly, you kind of gave us a list of the available funding options for college. And as I see it, saving for college may seem like a daunting task, but let me tell you, it is worth the effort. Because by starting early and taking advantage of all the resources available to you, you can actually make sure that you have the funds you need to pursue your dreams, right? So I will also add the importance of college education is evident in today's job market, no question about it, right? And in order to be competitive, many employers require applicants to have at least a bachelor's degree, That's a rite of passage. Even if a job does not require higher education, workers with a college degree, as you mentioned, earn on average 26% more than those without one, right? And with the rising cost of tuition, however, many students and their families are wondering if a college education is worth the investment. So while the cost of tuition has increased significantly in recent years, the long-term benefit of a college degree still outweigh the cost, right? So in addition to earning potential, studies have shown that college graduates are more likely to be employed and are less likely to experience periods of unemployment. And they are also more likely to have health insurance and retirement savings. And for these reasons, in my opinion, it is clear that getting a higher education is still important in today's world. Okay. So my last words today would be, well, college can be expensive, right? So it is important to start saving as early as possible. So if you don't have a plan in place yet, now is the time to start thinking about how you can save for your kids' future and even your own future, right? So contact Eric. He has helped lots of families save for college and for a lot of years now, right? So you know the ins and out. And I would say again, I guess I will continue to say it. College is expensive these days. Okay, don't let yourself be caught off guard. Okay, don't let this very important expense meet you by chance, because you know that your kids are going to be would want to be educated. You would want for them to be educated. So start saving now and give your children the best possible opportunity for a bright future. So this brings us to the end of today's Merging Life and Money episode. Listeners and followers, I hope that you have enjoyed today's show. It's an important one, and that you have a better understanding of how to plan and save for college costs. And as you know, I like to end the show with a quote. And today I'm quoting a controversial person, Bernie Sanders. And it goes like that. We must fundamentally restructure our student loan program. It makes no sense that students and their parents are forced to pay interest rates for higher education loans that are much higher than they pay for car loans and housing mortgages. Okay. And as you know, Bernie Sanders is an American politician and activist, and he is also a current senator from Vermont, I think. So thank you, Eric, for your awesome contribution to the show today. We will meet again next week for part 2 of our series on student loan. Thanks again for your contribution to the show. I am going to show your banner there if anyone wanted to contact you to at least am I showing the white banner? Yeah. To get some conversation going, please, I would urge you to do so, because that is something just like your retirement that you got to plan. And although some people say that, okay, make sure that you save for your retirement early, to me, it's the same, or it's very similar, whilst to me the subtle difference is that your kid may stand a chance to get a scholarship for school, but you will not get one for retirement. But if you plan everything, as part of your financial picture, you will be, in a good position to be able to do the two. Okay. So thanks again, Eric. And for more information about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live a purposeful life with the money you have, join me next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Atlantic time for my Bermudian peeps, and Friday morning, 10:30 Brisbane, Australia time for my Australian friends. Thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.